Good morning from Cusco. The reason that we're whispering is because it is 4:35 in the morning, and in all fairness, I don't think either of us slept particularly well. We were supposed to get picked up by our tour operator at 2:40 this morning, but when we woke up at 2:20 to get ready, we had received a message from them apologizing for the late change and telling us that our new pickup time was going to be at 4:40 this morning instead. So we tried to go back to sleep for another 2 hours, but didn't really work out so well for us.
Despite all of that though, then we are planning on doing our best to rally because today we get to see the iconic Machu Picchu and I cannot wait.
This is going to be Nick's first time there and my second time, and I am equally excited to go back.
And now we are going to be heading outside to get picked up, so let's go.
After an hour and a half's drive in what turned out to be a private car rather than the bus that we were expecting, we are now here at Ollantaytambo, which is situated in the Sacred Valley, but it's actually where we get the train onto Machu Picchu.
We have an update. We told you that we were waiting here to take the train, and the person from our tour operator was supposed to send us the tickets at 7:20 this morning for a 7:40 train. However, he has now told us that the train company is not allowing him to buy us tickets, so we have no train tickets, and apparently he's now headed to some big train station himself to see if he can buy them in person to send them to us. We were apparently even supposed to be on an earlier train today. It got delayed to one of the trains at 7, but now we're not even on that train. We've even received a message from our tour guide in Machu Picchu telling us she's waiting for us. Meanwhile, we're stuck here in Ollantaytambo, and it's a 1.5 hour train ride away from Machu Picchu town. So this isn't the best impression from this tour operator, because they have already changed the time of our pickup last minute, and now we don't have train tickets to get to Machu Picchu town. So
if anything, it's the tour guide that I feel sorry for, because she's already there waiting for us and clearly hasn't been told by the person who's trying to run the whole thing that we are delayed. So realistically, she could be waiting another 2 to 3 hours before she actually takes us on our guided tour. It's just not a good look.
we'll keep you posted. We finally got our train ticket sent to us at 8:30 in the morning when we were originally supposed to leave at about 7:30. However, our train tickets are not until 11:15, so we have almost 3 hours to kill here.
I mean, the good news is that they've adjusted the return trip back by the same amount so that we're still getting a bullish experience of Machu Picchu, but at the same time, it's still a little bit disappointing because we basically got no sleep and have now officially wasted the best part of the morning just waiting here. So
yeah, we'll have waited 4 hours here. I just feel as though this has been disorganized because I think that a tour operator should buy tickets in bulk so they already have them for the day and they're not just purchasing train tickets on the day of, last minute.
And it seems like all of the different parts to our excursion, from the tour guide to the taxi there and back and all of that kind of stuff, they don't seem to be communicating with each other because they're checking in with us all the time. And so, yeah, it just smacks of disorganization. I think considering the number of successful tour experiences that we've had around the world, this by comparison is just a little bit disappointing.
I'm sure we're still going to have an amazing time there. It's just, I would not recommend the tour operator that we've gone with.
Not yet, anyway. Let's hope that they can recover and give us a wonderful afternoon and evening.
It's 11:15. We're on the train and we'll be on our way any minute now.
Finally, we're going to get to Machu Picchu, and I cannot wait.
Cusco yo soy y tan sola estoy, soy princesa del imperio.
El camino trajo hasta aquí, a esta bella inspiración. Ella es mi razón de ser y luchar.
Que mis latidos guíen tus pasos.
Tú eres mi camino. Por tu amor seguiré hasta el final. Por tu amor.
After an hour and a half's worth of the most scenic train ride that we have ever taken, we are finally here at Machu Picchu Station.
We've just finished up lunch and it was absolutely delicious. It wasn't originally included in our tour. However, because of the confusion and delays this morning, they decided to throw it in as a goodwill gesture. But now we are finally going to Machu Picchu.
So in order to get up to Machu Picchu, we had to pay for an additional ticket to get the bus, and that is $24 per person for a return ticket.
Machu Picchu is an Incan settlement sitting at an altitude of 2,430 meters above sea level. Much mystery still surrounds why Machu Picchu was built and how it was used. While there are many theories, none have been confirmed. What has been established is that the Incan king, Pachacuti, ordered the construction of Machu Picchu in 1440, and it took roughly 40 to 50 years to build. Equally mysterious, though, is why the Incas permanently abandoned Machu Picchu in 1572. Evidence suggests that the site actually remained undiscovered until 1911, when American historian and explorer Hiram Bingham was guided to it by a local.
The site was chosen because of its proximity to water, the Urubamba River, the abundance of rocks that could be used as building materials, and the saddle shape of the mountain providing a perfect foundation on which to build. Intentionally or not, the site was constructed in the shape of a condor, a sacred bird the Incas believed was the messenger between the earth and the heavens. Between 400 and 750 people lived in Machu Picchu at any given time. One of the site's most prominent features is the terraces, which were used for farming, and are perhaps one of the best examples of advanced Inca engineering, as they were built to ensure good drainage and soil fertility while protecting the mountain from erosion and landslides. Aside from the agricultural sector, the urban sector of the settlement consists of an upper and lower town. All 32,000 hectares of Machu Picchu were declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983, and it was voted one of the new 7 wonders of the world in 2007.
Our 2-hour tour is coming to an end, and we have had absolutely incredible views of the city down below. But we just learned that we're actually not allowed to go down there to see the actual buildings because that is a separate ticket. And that's very different from the last time that I was here. Our tour guide was telling us that there are a lot more regulations in the past 8 to 10 years. For example, they issue tickets by the hour as opposed to just a morning or an afternoon ticket. And there are different circuits now that you can purchase tickets for. And clearly down there is a circuit that we don't have a ticket for, whereas before, when I was here, you could spend the whole day here and explore the entire site, and you really only need an extra ticket to climb the huge mountains behind us, whereas now they encourage you to only spend 2 hours here. So a lot has changed.
That said though, at the end of the day, this is still an incredibly special place, even if you are just viewing it from the distance that we are right now. This is an absolute once-in-a-lifetime trip, and I'm super happy that despite the cost, we were able to come here.
Absolutely. It's actually been really nice for me because, not to drone on about last time, but I was in a huge group last time, whereas this time it's only been 6 people. So we've really got a more personalized experience. It's felt less rushed, and actually because we're here in the afternoon and the late afternoon at that because of what happened this morning, this wasn't the original plan, the site is far less crowded than I remember it when we were here first thing in the morning with every other tour group.
Yeah, I was definitely expecting to have to really fight to get photos and that there was going to be huge crowds around here, but honestly, right now I can count probably about 30 to 40 people on this hill, and it's a pretty big hill, so you definitely have ample space to be able to just appreciate the views and take whatever photos you want to. So actually, it might be better to come in the afternoon than the mornings.
These views are spectacular. Just the fact that the city is built in such a picturesque landscape, it's Instagrammable.
Absolutely. This is such a unique and stunning place to be. Even if Machu Picchu didn't exist, I'm sure that this would be somewhere that people would still come for the epic views that they would get. So yeah, this is a truly special place.
I feel like you not only get like the history of a city, but you also get spectacular landscape all in one.
It's a heck of a place.
We just took the bus from Machu Picchu back down to Machu Picchu town, which is actually called Aguas Calientes, and this is where we'll be getting the train back to Ollantaytambo later, but we have about 2.5-3 hours to kill until that time. So we've come to Mesa 7 for some coffees, and while we're here, we thought we should give you our impressions of the tour itself, not Machu Picchu, because I feel like we already told you what we thought and how beautiful it is.
Because it is. I think the first thing that we need to preface is that it has been a really, really long day and we're very, very tired, and that hasn't been helped by the fact that we were kind of messed around a little bit on the timings as to when we needed to wake up. That all aside, when you look at the cold hard facts here, then this tour cost $394 Canadian per person. That is the most amount that we have spent on any tour at any site in the world. And this is considering the fact that we have gone to some absolutely iconic places in some far more expensive countries. So considering the fact that, generally speaking, Peru has been a very affordable country for us, this is staggeringly high. And you would hope that if you are paying that amount of money, that you would have basically everything included, everything taken care of. But that's not been the case. Basically, all we've been really provided is a tour guide for when we're at Machu Picchu, entrance into the historical site of Machu Picchu, and then transport. That's basically it. Otherwise, we had to fend for ourselves as far as breakfast was concerned. Lunch was not intended to be included, but because of the mishap that happened earlier today, then it ended up being included as kind of a compensation thing. And then on top of that, even just to get from here up to the historical site, which is quite a mission of a way, then we still had to pay on top of that when we actually found out that we were the only ones who had to pay extra. I don't know who other people went through in order to get this done, but somehow we just missed out. It just feels like we have definitely overspent on this particular experience. And that's not to take anything away from the fact that we're here in this amazing part of this amazing country, experiencing it firsthand. It's just, you would hope, based on the tour experiences that we've had elsewhere in the world, all of which have been absolutely superb, that you would be getting the same kind of quality and the same value for money, and it just feels like we haven't had that this time around. Equally, when we have watched other people's experiences of Machu Picchu on the likes of YouTube, then it seems to have not just been about getting the views of the citadel, but they've also been able to walk among it. Now, we actually heard that there's been a number of restrictions that have been placed on Machu Picchu's sites as a means of preserving it, because apparently parts of it are starting to sink due to human activity. Now, we are perfectly accepting of this, and of course, preservation of such significant historic sites should always be paramount, and we fully support it. However, what was just disappointing is that the tour operator did not make that clear. Perhaps we could have maybe done a little bit of Googling, because I think we just went based on assumptions, but at the same time, it would have been great had the tour operator been abundantly clear as to just how much of Machu Picchu we were actually going to be doing once we turned up.
And can I just interrupt and say that had the tour run on time and we arrived far earlier in the day, Nick and I for sure would have purchased another ticket to do the circuit that does take you through the city itself. But because we arrived so late, the site was closing and we didn't have time to do it after our tour.
So again, it just adds a little bit to the disappointment. But to be honest with you, a lack of communication seems to have really been the theme of today. It just seems that there have been a multitude of moving parts, and they haven't been communicating with one another effectively in any way, shape or form. In a lot of instances, we've had people popping up on our WhatsApps basically trying to confirm what's been going on with our group in order to figure out timings, and then to tell us exactly what's going to be happening with their section of the day. And equally, we would normally be expecting for a tour guide to be with us the entire time. Now, I understand that things may be done a little bit differently for this particular historic site, just because it is so remote in comparison to the rest of the town, but at the same time, having somebody organising and taking care of everything soup to nuts would have been much more helpful, because with pretty much every other experience that we've ever had in our travels so far, there has been somebody who's been centrally running everything, and everything has been basically going through like a well-oiled machine, and it's required zero involvement from us.
And I think that if you are not going to have one guide with us the entire time, and you're going to rely on several different guides for different parts of the experience, the tour operator that we booked through should at least give us the contact information as well as the detailed itinerary of who is taking care of which part of the tour, where we're meeting them, how to contact them before the tour even starts, whereas they were giving us updates a few minutes before each part started. And if you didn't have data and you needed Wi-Fi, so you couldn't communicate over WhatsApp while you were on the road, well, too bad for you.
Yeah, being drip-fed information is not really going to put you at ease about the quality of the tour, especially when you're paying this amount of money for it. So, to conclude, while we obviously don't want to complain about this, we do need to be completely honest about it. Do we recommend you come to Machu Picchu? 100%, this is one of the coolest places and most unique places in the entire world. And of course you should come and see it if you are planning on coming to South America in any way, shape or form. However, do we recommend that you go through our specific tour operator in order to get your experience? Absolutely not. Maybe it's just been a bum day or whatever, but certainly this is not the level of experience that we've come to expect from pretty much anything that we've done so far. And if you've seen our videos, you'll see we've done a lot. So while we obviously don't want to publicly name and shame, because that just doesn't really help anybody, what we do want to do is we do want to try and kind of steer you away from booking through this organisation so that you do have a better time in Machu Picchu than we have today. So with that, then we are going to just drop a link from Get Your Guide in the description just so you know which one you maybe shouldn't take.
But now we're just gonna enjoy our coffees and try and kill 2.5 hours until the train is back. Out of Machu Picchu station and are heading back to Ollantaytambo station right now.
Obviously we need some dinner, so we've got a couple of snacks that we've actually picked up on the way and we already experienced before in Peru and we got them. So these are chocolate, which includes free toasted corn kernels. We actually tried these in Lima and we love them, so just decided to get a big bag of these. And then these bad boys are granola bars, which seem to be with pumpkin on. We ended up actually being given one of these on our flight from Lima to Cusco. So we are going to munch on those as we head back to Ollantaytambo.
It's about an hour and 40 minutes on the train and then an hour and a half drive back to Cusco. But it's the exact same thing that we did this morning, but in reverse and in the dark, so there's nothing that we're going to be able to show you.
So with that, we're going to call it that. Until next time, take care.
And keep smiling.